Let's check this out. We are now live. And let's see if the feed is going well. There we go. Checking it out in HD. Let's take it out on 1080p. See if everything seems to be okay. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Little, just a little bit fuzzy maybe. Just gonna check out. Doesn't seem too bad. So we'll keep it like that. Hello everybody. Nice to have all of you here. Happy New Year, all of you. Nice to have everybody on board. So pretty cool. And as we start New Year 2017, this is Live Tech Show number 59, coming to you from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where we answer your tech questions. If you have a question, help with your computers at gmail.com is where I check first. I go through all the questions there. And if we have some time, well, we go through the questions or check out a little bit of the chat room. We have interaction. It's fun to have everybody on board. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. New Year. And we are Tuesday, January 3rd, 2017. Incredible New Year already. And let's hope that, let's cross our fingers, because for me this year, as a lot of you know, is make or break. So we got to do something with the channel, and we got to do something with all of what I'm doing. So we'll be checking that out. We'll be checking that out. Okay. Let's check out the questions. First of all, of course, we're going to talk about ways that you can help me if you want to help me. Patreon at patreon.com/radio and computers. Great little place where you can actually give me a little something every month, just to tell me that you appreciate what I do. I work hard and dedicate a lot of time in making these. I have to pay the rent and have to pay the bills like everybody else. And since I do take a lot of time doing these things, well, that's time that I don't devote to other things to make money. So it's greatly appreciated. Patreon.com, Radio and Computers. You can send me a one-time donation also at PayPal at the Yahoo email that you see here. So these are little things that you can do to help me out. It's much appreciated, and every little bit helps, even if it's just $1. And I think we have a cat that wants to join in the fun. So let's check it out. Here we go. Here's Mr. the Cat saying hello and Happy New Year to everyone. Yeah, Happy New Year. Look. Camera's over there. Camera's over there. Doesn't understand the thing, but hey. So every bit is welcome, and thank you so much for those that have donated. It's appreciated. Okay, let's check out first questions about insider previews that comes from, and by the way, hello everybody in the chat room. Nice to have you. Nice to have you on board. So we have Franco, that is a regular on our channel. He's from Italy. And basically, Franco has questions about the insider previews for 2017. So first of all, he was one of the first to tell me, hey, you've done a review of the build 14997, and I don't see it when I go to updates. Yeah, that's normal. This is a leaked build. It's not supposed to be for anybody at all. It's a leaked build that appeared online. And to complete your question, I will not give any links to this build at all. And I don't think anybody should install it because that build is an unofficial build, so it won't upgrade to the next build. It might have many bugs in it. And you know, I've installed it in I didn't even install it on my main insider machine. I've installed it on a separate machine so that, you know, if anything goes wrong, I don't have any problems. So that my insider machine is still at 14.986 if I'm not mistaken. So don't look for it, and nothing there. Okay, you look at my review on the channel, you'll have the the update of what is in here. What's to expect in the next few months? And that's interesting because today we learned a few things. We first learned that the creators update for Windows 10, the next major update, is going to be beginning of April. So they pushed it a little bit further away. So beginning of April, there will be our creators update. So it's still coming. Basically, and it's a little late. We also learned that one of the things that it's gonna change is the fact that now we're going to have some insider previews in January, like usual. So if you're in the fast ring, slow ring. The only thing is we learned also that the features will be locked down at the end of the month. That means we'll get new features up to, the last day of January. But after that, starting February, there will be no more new features in the Windows 10 Insider Previews. That will be pretty much what the Creators Update will be all about. And we will have only bug fixes. Starting February, we're just going to have bug fixes. And we're going to try to have it work better. So basically, there is going to be the Creators Update somewhere beginning of April. They can't really push it too far off because if in April it's not there, they'll have a lot of difficulty getting a second update this year. If we look at, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, that's 8 months. 8 months in between the anniversary update on August and the April release of the Creators Update. 8 months after April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, gets to December. I don't think a December release is really something they want. That means they would have to go faster. They have to go faster from that update, Creators Update, until the next update. And Microsoft has never gone faster. So, you know what? Let's hope for a second update. Let's hope for a second update. But you know what? Let's start by Creators Update. And we will, of course, check out all of that afterwards and see if, of course, Insider Previews will continue. And that's another question that Franco has. Will Insider Previews continue with the Creators Update? Yes, they will. This program is here to stay for a while because since Windows 10 evolves into different new versions, what's going to happen is that there's going to be, of course, other Insider Previews. Starting a few weeks after the release of Creators Update, we will start having new Insider Previews. Once again, the first Insider Previews will be the ones with very little new stuff in it, and then we'll get the new features for, we don't know what name they're going to give it, but let's call it Redstone 3 by the end of the year, apparently. And I'm not convinced at that at all, I can tell you that. So that's pretty much where we are. Sorry, Mr. the Cat, I know you're really, really comfy here, but I'm working, so here's go. So, yep, an interesting year. I think 2017 is going to be a nice year for Windows 10, and check out what's the new stuff coming for sure. Skype issues, and we got a few people with Skype issues. One question of Skype issues comes to me from, let me just check here, Andy in Montreal. Andy has pixeling issues with Skype. I also have a question from losing the email because I've all put them in one big file. Okay, so the second one comes from Chris, and Chris is located in the state of Texas in the United States. So the questions that we have overall over Skype is, first of all, losing pictures from one contact only, and that's Chris that asked this question. He says that he's having some nice contacts with pretty much everybody when he's actually using Skype. But one of his contacts, when he actually uses Skype, picture goes away, gets bad, and then goes away after a while. That is typical of a very bad connection with Skype. And because you say it's always with the same person, that kind of points me to the fact that that other person doesn't have a good internet connection. So basically, the way Skype works starts by giving you, if possible, an HD high definition picture. And if it doesn't work, it will throttle down slowly if it can't keep up with the amount of data that it's sending out. And at some point, if it really can't work, it will actually remove the picture, at least to have voice call. So that's in the case of a really bad internet connection. Now, pixeling of the video after a few minutes, and that's the problem of Andrew. Andy, there's many things that can make pixeling of Skype. First of all, your internet connection speed, and always remember this, because one of the major problems that a lot of people don't understand is the fact that you're not the only one that can have a problem in a connection on Skype. It can be the other person. And people tend to often say, well, you know, I've got bad connections. I wonder what's wrong with my PC. When it can often be the other people, the other person on the other end. And so that's a problem that is very common. Skype is sensitive to certain things. One of the things that often is a cause of bad Skype connections and pixelization, Wi-Fi. If you Skype on Wi-Fi, chances are you might actually have bad Wi-Fi connections. A lot of people that Skype a lot will often connect their PC directly to the modem using an Ethernet cable because it's the best connection you can have. Wi-Fi sometimes works fine, sometimes it's horrible. You know, there's one reason why I do these shows connected, even though I'm on a laptop, is because Wi-Fi is not good at sending out a lot of data like when you're on a video call. Now there's a lot of data there. So pixelization, bad internet connection, often Wi-Fi will do pixelization also. Try to Skype as close to the router as possible if you're on Wi-Fi, because if you're in another room and your Wi-Fi signal drops, quality of the video will drop also. Even better, connect directly with a cable. Check out your internet connection or the other people, the other person you're talking to. What's that person's internet connection speed? These are things that you want to check for. You can go to fast.com and check out how many megabits per second you have on your connection. Typically, anything below about 5 megabits per second, usually Skype will have problems. So at least 5 megabits per second for a really good connection. If you don't have 5 megabits per second when you're using Skype, that might be why pixelization appears. And one last thing that is to maybe think about, sending out data like, you know, any HD stream online is something that requires that your PC be working in top shape, because it does take a lot of power from your PC to actually do this. So make sure that you also have the best, your PC, you know, being as recent as possible. You know, an old Core 2 Duo, for example, that, or a computer that's 6 or 7 or 8 years old, might sometimes not be up to par to send out a lot of data and work like that. So check it out. And finally, bad webcams is a possibility. If you use your laptop's webcam, could be that. you know what? A lot of webcams on laptops are really crappy. If you Skype a lot, buying a camera that plugs in the USB port might actually be good, because I can tell you one thing: a lot of people have bad cameras on their laptops. These are often horrible. So check that out. It could be a possibility also. You know, lots of little things can go wrong, that's for sure. And I can you know, assure you that you're not alone in having pixelizations. And also, our friend in Texas, Chris, asks about the fact that he's never made international calls using Skype to a phone, and what he's wondering, is it safe, and why would he use that? Well, it depends on really what where you're going to call and what type of calling fees are on your own phone provider. You know what? Skype used to be extremely good in having amazing prices for specific areas around the world for Skyping, for actually calling a phone number. But more and more phone companies are getting into the very low prices. So you know what? I would check out. If you go on the Skype page, you'll have a full page of how much it costs per minute, or there's even some packages that you can buy. So for example, here I have a client of mine that goes to Florida every year, and typically his wife needs to work, so his wife stays here. He goes to Florida and he's gone for 3 months. And what happens is that here, no company had at some point a good deal in calling Florida, and they would call each other almost every night. So he would use a package that would cost like $7.99, and he'd have unlimited call from Skype to a phone number in Florida. Now, you know what? When you look at it today, many providers actually give you free calls to a lot of countries. My cell provider gives me free calls to Canada and the United States, which means I could use my cell phone to call the United States, and it's better than what Skype is offering. So compare, because Skype can be good for certain specific areas, but I can tell you that phone companies are really working hard to match these. They understand that Skype is one of their big competitors, and that they will, you know, they need to actually have better pricing. So, you know, that's something to check for. Okay, computer freeze issues, and that is was submitted through the Christmas holiday season by Stefan, that is in France, and says that a few questions comes to mind for him. He says, how can you troubleshoot a freezing computer? He says that a friend of his has a computer that freezes all the time and doesn't know exactly what's happening. So you know what? There are steps that you have to provide. First of all, make sure that reinstall Windows from scratch. Make sure that you have nothing attached to the PC. One of the first things that, when you reinstall Windows, one of the first things basically is to basically take a fresh copy of Windows and reinstall. By reinstalling, you will actually first of all know if, you know, it could be just software or something that's on the PC that makes it freeze. One of the biggest problems with a freezing computer when it's used for a long time is it had so many software installed on it, and there's so many changes that sometimes that could be a problem with freezes. So that's the first thing you should do. You know what? A computer freeze, unplug everything from the USB ports and reinstall Windows. And from there, check if it freezes. Don't reinstall anything yet. Wait and use it with nothing else, and no peripherals plugged into the USB ports. Is it freezing? If it does, okay, you need to continue on and check out a few more things. It doesn't freeze anymore. Well, slowly add the hardware like on the USB ports one by one. Don't go, installing a bunch of programs, because if you install a bunch of programs and keep all this stuff plugged in on your PC, and it's one of those things that creates a problem, then you won't know. So you reinstall, and you reinstall from scratch. You unplug everything for the USB ports when you install from scratch to make sure that none of the external peripherals actually cause issues. If it freezes, then you need to check out there's something happening in the hardware. It could be RAM memory. You can use a RAM tester like MEM86, or just swap in, if you have some RAM, remove the RAM modules and put other RAM modules in it of the same kind, and check out if it still freezes. Make sure that the computer is not overheating, and basically that is another cause of computer freezing. Make sure that CPU is clean, no dust. Make sure that if it's been like that for many years, maybe some new thermal paste to really make it go, get better, heating dissipation. Hard drives are something to check for. Sometimes it can be a faulty hard drive that makes your computer freeze. If your hard drive has problems reading, sometimes it will be stuck on a file because it can't read it. So if you have bad sectors, for example, you might run a piece of software and check it out and see if it's freezing again. Of course, a lot of things. A power supply can be a cause on a desktop. You're not saying if it's a desktop or a laptop here. That also is something to check for freezes. Update all the drivers. Drivers can freeze your PC, can blue screen your PC. Make sure that when you actually update, if some problems arise, go to the manufacturer's website, download the latest driver. Don't go just to, update driver in Windows. That doesn't work, I would say 15% of the time. 50% of the time, you have to go to the manufacturer's website. If you have an HP, for example, you go to hp.com, and that's where you go and check out with your model number the drivers they have there. If they're updated, update all the drivers on your PC. That might fix a freeze. Freezes come in many ways. Of course, faulty hardware, faulty motherboard is a possibility also. Never rule out any of that. Windows is rarely the problem when there's a freeze or a crash. More than 95% of the time, it's hardware, software, or driver issues that are actually plaguing Windows. Because Windows is extremely stable, and all versions of Windows, starting with Windows 7, have been amazingly stable. And like I say, more than 95% of the time, you can pinpoint that there's something going wrong, not with Windows, with something on your PC. It could be some hardware that you have. That's why I always say remove all and unplug all the USB stuff from the ports, because you never know if one of those. And sometimes even keeping everything plugged in on your USB ports, and I've seen that as a tech guy. If you reinstall Windows and everything stayed plugged in into your USB ports on your PC, I've seen Windows sometimes not install correctly because of all the hardware that's installed. And you unplug everything from USB ports and you reinstall the same copy, and suddenly it works fine. So these are things that you need to check for. And if it's hardware issues, it's sometimes very difficult to pinpoint. So very, very problematic. Some computers are awful. Some computers have mismatch of settings, or could be BIOS settings. So it's not always easy to pinpoint and troubleshoot a freezing computer, but you got to go step by step. You got to unplug everything. You got to start by just installing a fresh copy of Windows. Does it freeze there? If it does, likely a hardware issue or something like that. Maybe a driver issue. it doesn't freeze when it's there, then go slowly. Install one new hardware at a time. Install a printer, install your stuff slowly. Don't install 3 things at the same time. You install one, you continue using the computer for a day, not freezing, let's install a second hard device and try that out. And basically, that will let you see what could be wrong with your PC by going slowly. But a freezing computer from the start, just by reinstalling Windows, is pretty much bad news from the start. And contrary to what a lot of people think, Windows more than 95% of the time has nothing to do with it. Hardware on the computer itself has a problem with it. Freeze and blue screens at random and never the same error code. And that's on your son's laptop. That could be a sign of bad RAM. That could be RAM modules that are defective often have blue screens that are very, very random and never have the same errors. It could be a lot of things, especially you're telling me that it's a teenager. And teenagers typically click everything. So you know what? Reinstall Windows. You know, people hate to hear that, reinstall Windows. Even as a client, when I get clients, man, my clients hate it when I say I'm going to reinstall Windows. Because, you know, they're like, well, okay, but I don't want to reinstall Windows. Yeah, well, sometimes you have to do it. There's no, you know, you can't fix everything. You often have to do it. And so start by reinstalling Windows and do the same troubleshooting that from a freezing computer. Is reinstall from scratch works fine, then go slowly. Reinstall software one at a time, very slowly. Make sure that you can pinpoint. And also, viruses, Trojans, things like that can cause freezes, blue screens on PCs. I've seen that many times. PCs that are not working right, and you start scanning, it's like, oh wow, it's infected with tons and tons of viruses. And so when that happens, basically, you will have the possibility to clean up the PC or just reinstall Windows from scratch once again. These are things that can happen quite regularly in a PC that freezes or blue screens. And good luck, because it's not always easy to find out. And you know what? If you have blue screens, check out my new series this week on blue screens and how to try and troubleshoot them. Then we have, let me just check it out here. Okay, we have John in the state of New York, USA. Says hello, watched your shows regularly, love your shows. John has a few questions concerning how to stay safe on a PC. He says that you know, he's reading here and there tons and tons of you know, advice, and his friends are giving advice, and he's really wondering. He says, look, I'm a little lost at what makes my PC safe. One of the things that he always says is, well, you know, everybody tells him, well, antivirus is the #1 thing. So what's your take on safety? So you know what? Antivirus is the last thing that I will talk about in making sure your PC is safe. That's the first thing that I have to say. Update your PC. Make sure your PC is updated. And make sure that your drivers are updated. Make sure everything is up to date. Windows needs to be up to date. And if Windows isn't up to date, you are at risk of viruses. And that's how you will effectually stay safe. The #1 reason, okay? Stay safe, okay? Then in that you are the security #1, okay? I don't care what antivirus you use. They're all crappy at first, okay? There's no better antivirus than others. When somebody tells me, oh, this is better than that, no. You know what? In the latest tests that I've seen and that I've read about, Every antivirus doesn't detect a big chunk of viruses that are existing right now. And people think that you are secure with an antivirus. You're not. If you rely on your antivirus, you have security all wrong, and you already you will be bitten by some bug or by some problems. A lot of the new viruses are not detected, and more and more of the security experts will tell you, you know what, antivirus, whatever brand, are getting worse at detecting everything, at detecting new viruses, at knowing you're infected. And you know what? I'm 17 years of tech guy. I can tell you one thing. If you are not careful with your PC, with what you do online, one of the things that you're gonna really know is that, you know what? You're gonna be infected. I've seen tons of people infected, and they had antivirus on the software. They had antivirus of every kind. I've seen every antivirus being deactivated or having a problem or not detecting a virus, or detecting a virus but unable to remove it. It's you that decides how secure you are. If you are not careful on the internet, I don't care what antivirus you use, you will be infected. And if your way of thinking is, my antivirus keeps me safe, sorry, but you're going to be bitten by virus or malware or ransomware at some point. That is not the case, and every security expert is going to tell you antivirus is not that important, okay? I can tell you one thing, you can go with a Windows PC online with no antivirus at all, and if you know what you're doing and you're careful, and your PC is updated all the time, you're not going to have any infections, I can tell you that. I've done that so many times on many of my PCs, going online with no antivirus. Antivirus bugs me more than anything else because it always slows down your PC. And, for many of my PCs, especially when I had some gaming PCs, I always ran a gaming PC without an antivirus to have the maximum speed possible and not have that software slow down everything. So basically, you will be okay if you are careful. You're the number one security. You'll always be. And what you do on the internet is 90% of all the security. If you are up to date and what you do on the internet is fine, you're careful, you don't click everything you see, don't do illegal stuff, you won't have problems. You won't have problems. And I don't care what antivirus you use. The one you have is fine. I use the basic Windows Defender from Windows. It's okay. And of course, never click on any downloads, no illegal stuff. Don't go to, share illegal files or download illegal files or torrents or stuff like that. These are always the worst thing that you can do. And if you are careful, you know what? Like I always say, almost every client that I have that actually was infected tells me, I thought it was weird, but I still clicked. And you know what? That means the majority of my clients knew something was wrong when they looked at it, and they still clicked on it. And every time I tell them, you know what? You had the best security. You knew something was wrong. So you know what? Just, ignore it. When you think something is weird, don't click on it. Ignore it. Close that window or delete that email and forget it. And that's gonna keep you safe. Antivirus, I don't really care which one you use. I will never really care which one you use. Every antivirus that people use, it's okay. It's okay. And it always makes me laugh when I see these magazines that will give you that first info of, oh, here's the best antivirus because you're gonna stay safe. Well, I can tell you one thing: you shouldn't buy a magazine that starts with that. I can tell you that. So, okay, What else do we have here? Windows 7. Windows 7. And the Windows 7 questions are coming to me from Thomas. Thomas says that he's got Windows 7 and he's got a 5-year-old PC with Windows 7, and now it's really slow. I was wondering, what can you do to speed it up? Now he says that he's been using CCleaner, he's been using all sorts of cleaning software, a RAM optimizer, and it doesn't seem to do much. Well, first of all, RAM optimizers are useless. Second of all, CCleaner and company, and I'm sorry, but it's for most, it has, CCleaner has some nice parts in it there are certain things that are cool, and for that, for certain specific things, like uninstalling apps that you cannot install in Windows 10, for example, you can with CCleaner. There are things that CCleaner does that are kind of interesting, but I'm sorry, I've never seen anybody that uses CCleaner and the computer's faster afterwards. I've never. I still think, and it's my honest opinion, and of course, everybody has his own opinion. And I see it with my clients. But CCleaner is a useless software, except for specific things. If you're using CCleaner to clean the registry and remove temporary files and stuff like that, you're just removing stuff that's left there, but it doesn't affect, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't affect the speed of your PC. And so, CCleaner is to take with a grain of salt, because it's just, there are parts of it that does some interesting things, but in general, okay, nothing really. You got a PC that's 5 years, and if you've never done it, you know what? If you want to speed it up, just remove everything from your hard drive and reinstall Windows 7 from scratch. That will be the best speed up that you will have. Why? Because after 5 years, everything that you've done, all the programs you installed, uninstalled, the updates, everything, it created a humongous registry. It created all sorts of things that Windows now has to do that wasn't there at the start. Just reinstall Windows. Windows 7, I tell my clients, every PC users, people that really use a lot of their PCs, I often tell them, every year and a half, it's not a bad idea to reinstall Windows, because with time, it slows down. And that's the best that you will be able to do. And you know what? It gives you it's like a spring cleanup time. It will actually help you. You will be removing tons and tons of crappy stuff that you got with the time, and you know what? Your computer is going to be probably much faster after you do that. One thing that slows down a 5, 6, 7-year-old PC is the antivirus. Make sure you use something that is quite efficient. Big packages like McAfee or Norton often slow down old PCs. And on Windows 7, if you're careful with what you do, I most of the time will say, use Microsoft's antivirus. And it's going to be okay if you're careful with what you're doing. And compared to other antiviruses, it doesn't slow down your PC as much. So that's another thing that, be careful with antiviruses on old PCs. And finally, you say you lost your key for your original Windows 7 that you had, and you're wondering if you can get it back. So what you can do is basically either there's a program called Magical Jelly Bean. You can also run, what's the name of that thing? I think it's Belarc Advisor, BELARC Advisor. that can also give you the key out of your Windows. But I often use the Magical Jelly Bean. Is a very small piece of software, and it will actually give you the keys. What's nice with the Magical Jelly Bean software is that it will give you the key of Windows 7 that you have, but also will give you the keys if you have Microsoft Office and you lost the key. It's going to give you your Microsoft Office product key also, so you can reinstall it later on. Because you will need that key to reinstall Windows 7. If you don't have the key, you're going to be in trouble. So, Magical Jelly Bean is one of the ones that I prefer. It's a very small utility that doesn't even need, I believe Magical Jelly Bean doesn't need to be installed. It's just a piece of software that it's an executable that will give you that detail right away. And it's probably the one that I've been using for a long time. And that works very well in retrieving the keys for your Windows and your, if you have Microsoft Office, and even a few other pieces of software from the latest versions. But make sure that you get your key before you do anything else. And if you lost your key, another thing also that I always tell everybody, when you buy a new copy of Windows that has a key, why don't you put that in a safe place? I don't know how many times I've gone to clients and they don't have the key of their original software. And you know what? Without a key, I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. So hope it helps, and make sure, reinstall Windows. If you're not sure that you can do it yourself, ask for somebody that, has done it a few times. Ask around, and maybe somebody have done it a few times, so we can actually do it on your PC. Of course, you'll have to back up everything, because if you reinstall, you have to reinstall by formatting the hard drive, not keeping all your files. Make sure that you wipe out the drive and reinstall Windows. It's going to be much faster after that. And before doing anything else, apply all the updates. And what's nice is now you can actually go on the Microsoft website and download a big package of all the updates to Windows 7 instead of getting 346 updates since the beginning and the service packs and everything, which is just crazy. Okay, 2017, and these are a few questions because, I think I pressed the alarm button to a lot of people that watch my shows. In December, we were talking, and I talked throughout 2016 of what's going to happen in 2017. And, 2017 for me is a make or break moment. It's that time where I have to take a decision, and that decision I will take depending on what's happening. So, okay. The question comes from Susan that says, will you keep us updated of what you will do in the future in 2017 and if things are not going right? Okay. Yes, I will keep everybody updated on the situation of what's happening. Okay. One of the major things that I'm looking at in order for me to understand if I continue or not is the revenue that I get from this. I have to pay the rent and the bills and everything. So by doing live shows and by doing videos, one of the things that's happening is I, of course, get revenue from AdSense, YouTube monetization and stuff like that. One of the major key issues with what I'm doing right now is that YouTube monetization is crappier every year. And for the first 3 days of this year, it's crappier than it was last year. So, I'm going to wait because 3 days is really not enough to know if what AdSense will be like in 2017. I got an okay month of December. December was the best month for all of 2016, which is typical because December, there's a lot of ads because of Christmas and the holiday season. Now, 3 days into 2017 is not enough to really know what's going to happen here. Of course, I'll be continuing to do this for a little while. I'm not going to stop in February. I'm giving 2017 a chance. And I'm trying to think of different things that I can do to monetize what I do. I love doing this, but once again, I can't continue on if the revenue is not there. So I will keep you guys updated from time to time with videos. I'll post a little video, or even in my live shows, I'll be talking about this and explaining, what's happening and the decisions that I will make. One thing for sure is that, if the revenue is really getting crappy, I will stop doing all of this. And it's not because I don't want to, and it's not because I don't love all of you guys, because it's really cool. You guys are great, but it's something that I have to. It's something that I have to think about. And first 3 days of if everything would stay like the first 3 days of January that I have right now, I won't make it through 2017. If I continue on with that type of crappy monetization, what's going to happen is I won't have money to pay my bills in September. So I'll have to take a decision, and if it doesn't get better than what it is now, I can tell you I'll have to take a decision sooner than later. But I'll try to continue, and we'll try to see what I can do with this. It's sad, because man, I love doing this, and it's sad to see that they can't offer better monetization than that. And I'm not the only one. I mean, everybody is right now kind of going a little crazy over how they can monetize content online. Some big names like Paul Thurrott had to put an annual fee to his website, stuff like that. That shows you that we're all being squeezed a lot on the monetization of every type. One of the things that Susan says, have you thought of specific content for paid users? Yeah, it is something, of course, that came to mind. It's something that I see that other guys and other bloggers actually are doing right now, doing exclusive content to specific paid users. And but I want to try not to do that. I want to try to have everything for everybody. Would I try that? Maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe I could, but I don't know. I don't know yet. But it's still too early. You know what? We're just January 3rd. I mean, January starts crappy, but you know what? In a week or two, it can maybe become suddenly much better because of we're in the new year. Advertisers don't really, it's still a lot of people are still on vacation right now. So, but by the end of January, I will really have an idea of something. If it would stay crappy like it is for the first 3 days, in February, I'm going to have to devote more time into, my tech duties. And if I do that, and if you notice that in February, I start devoting less time to make videos, that's going to give you a hint that, okay, I'm working more as a tech guy because I can't continue with such a low revenue. So it depends. We'll see what 2017 brings, and let's cross our fingers. In talking about this, donations, patreon.com/radioandcomputers. If you can donate a little something, helps a lot, helps maintaining the live shows and the videos. And PayPal donations for anyone that can spare a little something. Of course, I understand that not everybody can give, and that's quite all right. And if you can, please think about it. Okay. Hey, chat room. Hello there. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Okay. Let's see here. Hello, everybody. Tim Robinson, Mad Radio DXer, Stephen Mail, Fan Gaming, Kimberly, Koenig. What else do we have here? Yeah, Kimberly is talking about revenue. It's there's things that I'm thinking about. Vladimir, hello there. Hello. Sheriff's House, hello there. What do we have? We have. Let me just check it out quickly. Handjab Shakil, hello there. And the more you post, and the more I'm tempted to not to answer anything. So when you have a question, you post it one time, not 40 times. Because, after 5 times, I'm not answering. Okay. What else do we have? Hey, 1990 Sunbird, Bobby Burgess, hello there. What do we have? Anybody else? Let me just go far back. If I haven't mentioned your name, please say hello again so I can mention you. James Casaza, nice to have you here. And what else do we have? Did I miss anybody else? I saw Christine Bauman. Hello there. Essa's Dev Channel. Hello there. Expert Leary. Hello there. Leary. Helmut Lupisek. Hello there. Albert Zappa. Miss Lady Catherine. Tolib Breslov. Hey, everybody. Douglas Elliott. Am I missing out on somebody? Ismael Massa. Hello there. Ismael. So just going back down. Peter Sargent. Hello there. Henry Caraballo. Hello there. What else do we have? Robert Renman. Hey. Hello there. Cool to have you here, Robert. Nice to have everybody on board. So it's cool to see everyone here. Really, really nice. Hello there, David Robinson. Nice to have you here. And we are having our first show 2017. I can't believe we're already in 2017. This is something amazing here. Really amazing. So pretty cool. Okay. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Everybody was okay. Nobody had too much bad stuff happening. Hello, Bobby Burgess and everybody. Mine was cool. I had the party here on the 24th of December on Christmas Eve. We were 12 people. Had a lot of fun. One of the cool holidays, really cool Christmas. Then we have New Year's Eve, which was at my brother's, which was pretty cool. Came back home on New Year's Day at 6 a.m. and we had champagne and beer, and we basically ate too much. I want to say and Happy New Year, everybody. By the way, Fan Gaming Vladimir is everybody. Happy New Year. David Robinson's first live. Well, I hope you're going to join us regularly. Pretty cool. It's fun to have everybody on board on the live shows. And Miss Lady Catherine says, great Christmas show. What several times. Man, I was drunk after that show. I was telling my nephew that I found it so funny because I was looking at bits here and there in the show. And I noticed that, I didn't even notice myself. But I noticed that by the end, my Santa suit was open. All you guys could see my T-shirt underneath and everything. And I was drunk. We actually, after the show ended, we called some Kentucky Fried Chicken, and we ate that stuff after the show. And wow. Next day, I was hungover a little bit. Not that much, but a little bit. And we, of course, made some rules because you guys know that January 12th, next Thursday, we are going to start our new show From the Couch. And it's going to be at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2100 hours Universal Time. That show, of course, is about a tech subject that we will talk about, one of the major tech subjects, or maybe a few. I was thinking maybe not, I started by one of the major tech subject. Then I was thinking, well, maybe we'll have a few of the tech subjects of the week. That's kind of interesting. My nephew will bring a little gaming side to it, so he'll have some interesting input from the gaming side of things. I will be on the tech side of things. We'll have the app of the week. We're gonna each download apps on our devices and talk about my favorite. So every week we'll have my favorite Android app of the week. He'll have his favorite iOS app of the week for iPhone and iPad. I think it's gonna be pretty cool, and it's gonna be a mix of things. And actually, this Thursday, the 5th, he's gonna come over in the afternoon, and we're gonna settle down and talk about what the show should be like. And of course, I'm expecting some inputs from all of you also, some kind of interaction. It's going to be a very, very interactive show, and I think it's going to be fun. If you guys have ideas of something that the show could be fun to have, don't hesitate to let me know. I think it could be fun to have ideas from you guys also. And I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a new show, and it's going to be pretty cool. And my nephew, because on several occasions on my radio channel, we had a retro gaming idea for a live show. And my nephew, being a gamer, more of a gamer, he's kind of interested in, retro gaming stuff. So actually, maybe it could be an interesting idea to have my nephew and me maybe add a retro gaming live show every week. If there is some interest in there, that could be fun. I'll bring out my Commodore 128, my Commodore 64, my Atari 1040 ST, my Amiga 500. We'll do some, of course, a lot of emulation on Windows. So we'll be playing like Super Nintendo games on emulation. We're going to do all sorts of things like that. So I think a lot of people could be cool. And, instead of being just one live show here and there, well, maybe a retro gaming weekly show. And, play some old games and have, a lot of people commenting. And maybe some of you have some old stuff out there. And we'll be, of course, playing some games live and just chatting with everybody and, playing Super Mario and stuff like that. So why not? I think that could be an interesting idea. And that would be cool to do. So, a few ideas. So as you see, I was talking about, how 2017 is a break or make. But I'm putting an all efforts in. So there might be at some point a live show almost every day. And we'll see what happens, and we'll see how we can transform things and maybe get some revenue out of something else. And we'll see that. So if you guys have ideas, for something, from the couch, any ideas, let us know. And I think that could be fun. And like Miss Lady Catherine says, love your nephew. I think everybody loves my nephew. Everybody who's seen my nephew is like he's a great guy. And you know what? I was telling everybody on holiday and my brother how I find it really cool because he's very he has good discipline. So he's very when we had our show last time, he took some notes and stuff, and I was impressed because. It's easy to say, well, do you want to do something with Uncle? But just, say, well, okay, and, don't really care about it. But he's extremely into it. I mean, both times that he was live here, when we finished, it was like, he was all prepped up. Man, the guy was so happy that we had the live show, and he found it so cool. And so he's very positive about it. He wants to try to make, from the couch, something cool. And, all of that, and maybe together we can create something out of that. That's going to be interesting. Can tell you that. Josh K, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, we'll check that out, Fan Gaming. I will be changing a lot of things slowly with my YouTube channels, the most popular YouTube channels anyway. Kind of update the looks and make it a little more interesting. And I think it's going to be fun. So, of course, it's thanks to all of you out there that we have that. So this is live tech show number 59. We are January 3rd, 2017. This is where you can send questions. Now, one question that I've seen that was sent today, so it's not in the show notes. Douglas Elliott has an HP ElitePad tablet, and he says it can't find his camera. He says Skype doesn't see the camera, and Microsoft camera app doesn't see the camera. So one of the things that you should do actually is go into the settings if you're in Windows 10, and you can actually search for it. Search for the privacy settings. Type privacy in Cortana. Go into privacy settings, and in the privacy settings, what I would like you to take a look at is camera. On the left side, there's camera. Make sure that the camera settings is at on. So let's let apps use my camera. Put that slider at on, because this can prevent your camera from being seen. And make sure, if it is on, that the apps you're using, the camera app, Skype, has the slider at on. That's the first thing you should look at. First. Okay, make sure that privacy settings are set all right. Now, the second thing that might prevent camera, because here you're talking about both the camera app and Skype can see your camera. So it means it's something that has to do with maybe your driver. Go to the HP website, okay? You have an HP ElitePad tablet, go to the HP website. Find your specific tablet or ElitePad model there. Check for camera drivers. They must maybe have an update to the camera driver. Don't just go to the device manager and check for an update. It might not show up there. But maybe there's an update at the HP website. And if there is, download it and install that driver in your computer, restart your machine, and check out if it works. If it works, it fixed the problem. Another thing that you can try in the device manager, if there's no new drivers, if things don't work with the camera, right click, go to the device manager, and in the device manager, when you see the camera driver, because you've already been there from what I've looked at, and you say that you've checked through the device manager for driver appears up to date. Don't check it there. Go to get the latest driver. There might be an update, but it won't show on the device driver. If there's really no updates or anything, go into your camera, so imaging device, for example, here, and right-click on it. Click this uninstall device. Click the uninstall device next to it. It will uninstall your camera. Restart your PC. That's going to actually force the detection of the camera and reinstall its driver. And maybe that could also fix your problem. So these are things that you can try. And hopefully, something will work. Something will work. So basically, that's how it's going to work. So I hope that you have a fix for that, because I know it's annoying when something doesn't work, and it's always a little sad, especially when you have a device and you can't have the camera working and stuff like that, and it's really, really annoying. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Okay, so hope that some of these little tips and tricks help, and if it doesn't, well, maybe we'll see if we can find anything else that we could do to make this more interesting for that camera to work. And so check that out. Check the settings, Douglas. Go directly to the HP website for a updated driver. Don't just look through the Windows Update. And last but not least, right-click on the driver, uninstall it, restart your tablet, your Elite Pad. It's going to redetect it, reinstall it, check if it works. There's probably something that is wrong, that's for sure. I would suspect more of a driver issue. If it would be app specific, you would have Skype working, camera app not working, or camera app working but Skype not working. That would be more of an issue with the software that you're trying to use. But if it doesn't work on both, I think it's something that has to do with that, for sure. That's for sure. Okay. What else do we have? Yeah, Stephen Mail, you should have at the end, when you put your mouse pointer on somebody message, on the right side of your screen, you should see 3 dots. And there you have the possibility to block a user. You can delete just one comment from a user, stuff like that. This is how it's done. If you don't see it, just maybe check out, maybe try another browser. You should see it appear. You should see it appear normally, basically. And hope that it's okay. Okay, what else do we have here? I've just got an email from George. Hello, George. George is in Greece. Cool. Nice to have you on board, George. So, George is in Greece, and basically, the question that comes to his mind is when he boots up his PC sometimes displays something on the black screen that's really quick. It doesn't have the possibility to view it, but there's a certain sequence of beeps that his PC also does before it disappears, but it can't see it. So, question, how do I view the error code or the message? 2 things you can try, okay? On your keyboard, every keyboard has a button that says pause. You can quickly try to press that pause button when you are in the beeps. For most PCs, that will freeze the computer at its BIOS screen. Another thing that you can do is check out, when computer beeps, it usually means your motherboard is trying to tell you something. So beeps are not at random. They have a sequence. It could be, rapid, small beeps. It could be slow, long beeps. It could be a mix of little short beeps and long beeps. You need to know what's the pattern. So if it's like 3 short beeps, 3 long beeps, then you're in business. By knowing the pattern, if it's even just short beeps, count the number of beeps. Oh, it's 6 small beeps. 6 small beeps. Just go on Google and type your computer's model number or your computer's manufacturer, and just type, for example, HP computer, 3 short beeps, 3 long beeps, or depending on what's the sequence of beeps. You'll be sent to some pages where people are going to actually tell you, oh, for HP, this sequence of beeps means this type of problem. One of the common issues of beeps, if you have a desktop, because you don't give me a lot of information here. One of the common things that I see very often is a bad BIOS battery. So the settings get reset to 0, including the clock. That can give, on some PCs, a sequence of beeps. But usually you get stopped there and it says press F1 to continue. From what you say here is that it disappears quickly and it still continues to boot up. So check what's the sequence. Listen carefully. Note the number of beeps. Are there short beeps, long beeps? Is it a mix of short and long beeps? The computer's trying to tell you something. Beeps are there for all sorts of things. It can be a bad checksum for the BIOS. It could be, RAM memory problems. It could be something in the settings that's not right. So by checking out the number of beeps and checking out the computer, you should usually have the information of what it is. What else do we have here? Yeah, Tim, Stephen, you should have 3 dots. My nephew didn't have, because I gave my nephew, when he came, I gave my nephew the possibility of being moderator. And he didn't see the 3 dots until it restarted. So maybe it's the browser you're using, Stephen Mail. So check it out with another browser. You should have 3 dots at the end of every sentence when you put your mouse pointer over it. Miss Lady Catherine, how do I change my SSD card from using Windows Media when I plug it into my computer, or should I use it? Is it Windows 10? Do you have Windows 10? Yes. Okay. When you put your SSD card, it goes directly to Windows Media. Yeah, that's in the settings. When you if you look at default, let me just check here. Default programs, or even better, when you plug in your SSD, go through the File Explorer on Windows, and on the File Explorer, your SSD will actually, when you right-click on it, in the menu here, you will actually have the possibility to select what you want to do with that SSD. So basically in the File Explorer, you should see it appear, and right-click on it. It will actually tell you, oh, what do you want Windows to do with this SSD? And there you can change it. Now the question that, yeah, that's what I thought, Tim. It's the SD card reader. I'm pretty sure that's what it was also. Now, you can do that and right-click on it. But you know what? You're asking the question, should I keep it like that or not? And the thing is, if it plays and it's okay with you, there's no need to really change it. The idea is, if you want to change it because you have something else that you'd like to play it with. But if you put it there and it starts playing it in Windows Media and it's okay, just keep it like that. Just keep it like that. But once again, there's also autoplay settings. But if you right-click in the File Explorer, it's going to give you the autoplay settings also. And it's going to tell you what to do. If you go to autoplay in Windows 10, let me just check here. Do you get, yeah, autoplay settings. If you go into the Cortana search box, you can go to autoplay settings. It's going to give you this black screen. And on this black screen, you have choose autoplay defaults. Memory card is the one you want because it's an SD card. You have the possibility in there to choose what you want to do. You can say open folders to view files. You can say take no action. Play. That's the one that's probably set right now. Play with media player. Or it can import. One of the options I like to set when I put these things in is ask me every time, so that you can do whatever you want instead of having an immediate action. But if you type autoplay in Cortana. Go to the autoplay settings. An SD card is in memory card. And same thing, if you just add a USB thumb drive and removable drive, you'll have also the options to configure storage, configure drive for backup, ask me every time, open folder to view files, take no action, and depending on what's on it, Windows 10 adapts according to the media on an SD card or a USB thumb drive. So if it has music, it's going to want to play the music with something. If it's pictures, we're going to want to import the pictures or do something to view the pictures, basically. But that's where you'll change everything for sure. That is weird, Stephen Mail. No dots. That is weird. I have Microsoft Edge here, and I see the dots, and my nephew was on, I think my nephew was on Chrome, and he saw the dots. No, I think it was on Microsoft Edge. So that's weird. You should see them. Chrome and Firefox should both give you the dots. That's weird. Very, very weird. Yeah, you can try something else. On the three dots on the bottom where you put your comments, you can actually remove the no wrench or I on IE or dots. That's because make sure you're signed in IE. You have to be signed in your account. Make sure that you I get the three dots everywhere, so it's kind of weird that he doesn't have them. Kind of weird, really weird that he doesn't have them. So very, very weird. Very, very weird. Hey, you're watching the live tech show number 59. We're January the 3rd, 2017, and two ways that you can join us. There's the chat room. Can look at stuff in the chat room. There's email, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com, where you can send also an email if you don't want to chat, or you can join the chat. And we've got a new question here that is from Philip. And Philip says it's the second time that he's been watching live and finds the program extremely interesting. Philip has a few questions. First of all, he wants to know what I think of getting an iPad for his children. He says he's got 8 and 10-year-old kids, and that they look at iPads and seem to want the iPads. I've looked at other tablets, like Android tablets that I've shown them, but they seem to be stuck at wanting an iPad and nothing else. What do you think? Should I get them an iPad or a cheaper Android tablet? Well, you know what? That depends on what they want to do. iPads, almost every kid that gets into something like a tablet or a phone often wants the iPhone or the iPad because it's kind of that cool thing. Maybe they have friends that have the same tablets that have an iPad, for example. Now, one of the things I would say at 8 and 10 years old is, are they careful with their devices? If they are not careful with their devices, getting an Android tablet is better, because if it breaks, it's less costly. So you won't have problems of trying to buy another one that's very expensive. iPads are expensive. It all depends on the environment. If their friends have iPads, they want to have an iPad because they can do the same things. What's interesting with the iPad is it's a closed down system also, so there's less chances of having some virus or some problems due to the fact that it's a closed system. That's something that you might think. Apart from that, like I say, iPads are expensive compared to Android tablets, and it might be interesting to see an Android tablet. And especially for, the gaming side and stuff like that, because kids often want to play games. I can tell you one thing. It's pretty much every game that gets, that is on an iPad is also for Android. So, it all depends on the budget you have, and I gotta think that like I say, if they're careful with their devices and you have the budget, well, it could be an iPad, but check with their friends. If their friends have tablets, what type of tablets do they have? Do they all have iPads? Then yeah, maybe they're gonna want some iPads, but I don't know. Check it out slowly, and it's very hard to say that to spend $700 or $800 on a tablet when you can have an Android tablet that works really well for $200, and that if they break it, at least it's $200 and not $700. So check that out. He's got a second question. Philip says he was watching one of my videos. Oh, that's something. Just a quick remark. Vladimir has a great thing here about also the iPad. The iPad Mini could be easier to hold for smaller hands and stuff like that. That's possible. So but for the money's worth, I wouldn't rule out Android tablets. They're still gonna have a lot of they still have a lot of fun with an Android tablet. I can tell you that. Bobby Burgess says, "Don't ask Grandma to get an iPad. They will think you want an iPad." Oh, man. Okay. iPod. Second question from Philip, which is, okay, you've watched one of my videos where I was talking about antivirus. And he says, yes, I know that on one of the videos, and including the show today, you have to, you say that antivirus is not important. Whatever type I have is okay. And according to a friend of mine that is an IT worker, he thinks that a good antivirus is worth it and that I should pay for the antivirus. My question is, according to you, what is the difference between a paid and a free antivirus? Well, yes. Okay, well, we'll put things straight here. Yes, a paid antivirus does more than a free antivirus, and that there's no questions about it. I've seen so many antivirus, and I used to have a paid antivirus on my PC. Yeah, they do more. Paid antiviruses will be doing more. Paid antiviruses will usually not just do more, but protect you in different ways. That often is lacking in the free versions of antivirus. Now that said, because even paid antivirus have so many flaws and don't detect all the stuff, I still don't care if it's a paid or free antivirus you're using. Because, once again, the number one security is you. What you do on the internet. That's pretty much it. So, if you are careful on the internet, there's no reason there should be any problems. It's just a question of common sense, and now not clicking everything and downloading everything, making sure your computer is updated. So, but yeah, if you ask me the question, is a paid antivirus better in some ways? Yeah, most paid antiviruses do a little more, but not always. but most of them a little more, yeah. Mace Lady Catherine says, is it normal for Windows 10 updates to take up to 25 to 30 minutes to install? My computer's 1.5 years old, probably that's what you mean. Where do you count 25 to 30 minutes, Miss Lady Catherine? Do you count it from the time that you see the update downloading? Or do you count it from the time that you see that the update is ready to install and you click that install button and it restarts? Because that's a very, 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 something that's very, very unique. And people often don't take the Windows updates length in the good place. Because the download, okay, if you see it downloading, that you do not count as time for updates. Because the downloading can take a lot of time. You really, really need to calculate how much time your updates take to install from the time it asks you to restart your PC. When you restart your PC, if it takes 25 to 30 minutes, it's a little long. Just to give you an idea, the last Patch Tuesday in December, I don't know, it took on this PC, which is a PC that's 3 years old, a little more. It took maybe, I don't think it took more than 7 or 8 minutes to install the package. It's downloads that usually take time, but once it's installing, 25 to 30 is a little long, but there's a lot of factors that can maybe make it normal, what you have installed on it. And if you just count the time from installing, restarting, and then it's over, should be okay. Because downloading, and it's not just that, like Mad Radio DXer says, it's not just that, it's not just your internet connection that's a problem. Usually when there's updates, for the most part, Microsoft's own servers are overloaded by the demands of all the PCs around the world that want to fetch that update. So you know what? Just downloading an update, it can take hours. I've seen times, I've seen some times where just downloading can take hours, and even I've seen an update not even installed in one day. I installed it the next day because it didn't download all of it in that period of time. That is not important. I often get people saying, "Oh, well, Windows, when downloading Windows updates, and it's been stuck at 40% for the last 3 hours." Doesn't matter. That's something you should not even look at. Even if it takes 6 hours before it's downloaded, that's most of the time not even your problem. It's at Microsoft's end. They're sending out, on Patch Tuesday, they're sending it. They open the valve on Patch Tuesday pretty much every time at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. That means almost every computer is ready to receive an update if it's checking. So when I post a video, hey, updates are ready, I am pushing everybody to go and download the update at probably the time where it's, the most intensive at Microsoft. So updates can take hours to download. And most of the time it has nothing to do with your own internet speed. Most of the time it's because at Microsoft there's, a lot of data that's being sent out, and they're sending bits of data here and there, so it can take a lot of time for a download. The download speed, that you never take into account. The download speed is something that is not important. What's important is that you have your updates and that they install. That's the important thing. So that's the important thing. And the time of install is from the time that your computer wants to restart. So when you get an update, the real time that you should look at is, okay, my computer needs to restart now. How much time did it take from the restart until you're back into Windows and you can do stuff? For most people, that shouldn't be more than 5 or 10 minutes, honestly. It can be 15 or 20. It's not a problem. I don't think it should take 30 minutes. And when I look at, my own clients, I've never really seen somebody have, an update installed and takes, 30 or 35 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes, 15 tops, is more of what's the regular norm. Now, except for really big things, like in Windows 7. In Windows 7, service packs, that can take a long time to install. That can be half an hour, 45 minutes. Or when you get a big update, like the anniversary update in Windows 10, that can be something that takes a lot of time. It's a reinstall of Windows. You really need to just check it out from the time you restart your PC. And if that is fast, that's what you need. So how to go to the boot options in Windows 10. Depends what type of boot options you want. On your PC, you can have some boot options because you have your PC. So with the escape key or F2 or F8 on some PCs, some are F10. It depends on the PC. Some are F10, some are F8, a lot are F8, some are F2, some are escape. And if you want to go into the options, you can go into Windows. You can hold the control key while you press restart in the Windows menu. It's going to force the options menu in Windows. Once you restart, it's going to ask you what you want to do. Yeah, that's about normal, Vladimir. The Intel Compute Stick first generation is a little slower maybe than the average PC. It's a bit like saying my 8-inch tablet that I have here. Sorry, on the Atom processor. It's much slower than my regular PCs. So I would say maybe it takes 15 minutes on my 8-inch tablet to install an update. Maybe sometimes a little more because it's a slow machine. It's a slow machine. It's very different, Mad Radio DXer. When you are on a UEFI BIOS splash screen, very often they block the update options, the BIOS or the options that you need to go to. So the best way is, if you can get into Windows, the sure way that it works is you hold down the control key on your keyboard. While you're holding down the control key, you go on your start button and you click restart. On some other PCs, it can be the shift key. So if it doesn't work with the control key, you can do it on the shift key. It depends on the PC. For some PCs, it's control, some it's shift. But when you do that, when you restart, if you can't restart, you know what? The easiest way, if your computer doesn't restart at all, one of the things first that a lot of people don't know is that when it crashes, after 2 or 3 consecutive crashes, it will give you that splash option screen. But it depends on the machine. And some machines are really difficult to get into the options. It's really, really something. Well, like Tim. Tim says it works for him with it works with a shift and restart. So you hold down the shift key, you click restart, you should go into that at the option screen. It should give you the access to the option screen. That's pretty sure. What else do we have here? Oh, that's interesting. By the way, hello, Alexander, Eric. Happy New Year. In the email, Alexander says that it takes about 40 minutes to reboot the computer during install of cumulative updates. On 1511 was much shorter, 5 to 10 minutes. Every time it takes more and more. That's interesting. Shouldn't take that much. there's something that's changed or that's made your, you might be part. I've seen a few people that complain that the anniversary update made their boot time much slower suddenly. So maybe that does the regular boot time, Alexander, is the regular boot time normal? I mean, when you went from 15.11 to anniversary update, did you see a difference in just the time it takes for your computer to start up? So 40 minutes is a little long. It depends on the machine. And you said that it was 5 to 10 minutes before, so there's something going on for sure there. Really for sure. And this is something to check out. Also have a question coming in from Dennis. Dennis says that for Christmas he's got a special device that you build that is controlled with a computer through Wi-Fi. It's a type of robot made by Lego. He says that he's been unable to connect that device and his computer, and he's wondering what he should look for. I've had a few calls from clients with people that bought, Christmas gifts of robots and all sorts of things that you can control with your PC. And they often have issues. One of the things I would check for, first of all, is I believe the Lego devices, the robots and the stuff that they sell that do things like that you can control, I believe that they have some kind of auto update feature from the device itself. If it's plugged into your router. The other thing is you need to basically make sure that it's well connected. There must be a little something that shows you it's connected to your Wi-Fi router. One thing that you can try out that might actually work is to unplug your router, wait about 30 seconds, and plug it back in so that every device is remapped inside the router. It could be just something like that. That's just preventing that robot from connecting well. So these are little things that you can check for. Some of these devices are unfortunately not really well made. So make sure that you can actually see that it's connected to the router, first of all. If it is and your computer can't see it, make sure that, just restart your router. I think that probably would, there's a good chance it's going to fix the problem. Unplug the router, wait 30 seconds, plug it back, wait for all of the devices to come back online and be okay. And you know what? Restart your PC and click the software that came with it, and I think it should work. These are little things. Almost every time I do things like that, it's never really that much of a problem. One last thing that you might want to check for, when you install the software that came with that Lego robot, it should have asked you, it probably should have asked you if you have to give you permission to get out of Windows, maybe the firewall. So there's something about the firewall that could also be blocking. And another thing that you might check out, I don't know if you have maybe an iPhone or an iPad or an Android tablet or something. Maybe there's an app for that robot. I believe all of the Lego type robots that connect can be controlled via tablets. Maybe it will work with an app on one of the tablets. But check that out. But you know what? Almost 90% of the time, just unplugging and replugging the router fixes everything, pretty much. Um, what else do we have? Miss Lady Catherine, what's the difference between a router and a modem? Okay. Modem and router 101. First of all, they can be combined. Okay, sometimes your modem and your router are the same package. The modem is what connects you to the internet. So basically, the modem is that device that will connect to your internet service provider at one end and give you the internet to your home at the other end. That's its only function. Connect with your internet service provider and give you the internet. Now, the router is a device that gets the internet from your modem and that can redistribute it to multiple devices at the same time. So for some people, a router and a modem are separate devices. The modem is often given to you by your internet service provider. It's connecting to the modem, to the router, and the router takes that internet and reroutes it for all the computers you have, the tablets, if you have a Wi-Fi router. So it's there to basically just, take that internet connection and give it to all devices that want to connect with it. So a router will basically give you multiple computers access to one connection, and a modem is only giving you the internet. It's the only thing that it does. It connects with your ISP. But on some computers, some modems are together. So a lot of internet service providers actually have a modem/router at the same package. It means that box that you have has both functionalities built in. It gets the internet from your internet service provider and it splits it out to all the other devices. That's the router part of your modem. So some people have one device, does it all. A lot of people have two devices, the modem from the internet service provider and the router for splitting it to all the devices around you. Now, if you have only one computer at home and it's a desktop, for example, you might not have a router. You might have maybe only a modem and plug directly into it, because that's all you need. All you need is to get the internet, and the modem is there for that. It takes the internet from your internet service provider, gives you that capability. So I don't know if I was clear enough, but the difference is what is there. Modem connects, gives you internet. Router splits the internet to different devices around you. It's there for that, routing the internet to all of your computers, tablets, and devices at the same time. Okay, Alexander, on that machine I had freeze after installing 1607. I still have not got anniversary update, and it takes about 40 minutes to reboot the PC during installing. Okay, so you're still on 1511, and okay, I would, I don't know, Alexander, I would be tempted to reinstall Windows 10 from scratch on that computer. How old is that machine that you're using, Alexander, by the way, just for time, just to know what it is, maybe. It's kind of interesting. It's as if something broke when you had 1511. Huh. Vladimir says, maybe in the future we'll use our desktop PC with Wi-Fi as a router, and when speeds will be faster. Yeah, we can already do this. We can already set up basically our PCs as a kind of router by giving the internet to other devices around us. Albert Zappa says, Time Monitor is like that. I tried using my expensive time capsule, but it wouldn't give right IP address. Unfortunately, some internet service provider are really, really dumb with that. They block the possibility to use another device. I hate that. Here, Bell A lot of people on Bell for a long time that had one specific modem that they actually issued. When you tried to put another router that would do other things, it would actually not work. They prevented everybody from doing that. That is sad, and I hate ISPs that do that. You know why they do that? They're scared that you're going to actually give the internet to all your neighbors. It's just a dumb way of doing things. Hey, take care, Matt Radio DXer. Always nice to have you on board. So interesting. But you know what, Alexander? I would reinstall the Windows operating system. Get yourself the latest image file with the anniversary update, and maybe install it. I think you've got something that got wrong on your install of 1511. Shouldn't take that long. Shouldn't take that long. Let's check it out here. Ismail Massa says, let me just check it out. Ismail Massa has been getting a pop-up to buy or activate this product. That's interesting. I saw that there was an attachment with the picture, but unfortunately, when I look at the email, it doesn't give me that. Doesn't give me the picture. Take care, Sunbird. Nice to have you on board as usual. Can you resend Ismail? I'm not receiving. I think you sent an image, and I'm not getting that picture. I'm not getting anything. What does it say, or at least can you describe what is the pop-up exactly, so I can see it somehow? I think that's something. Stephen Mail, just to update a little bit, because he sent me an email in the holiday season where he was talking about he had a lot of problems on his Dell desktop. And says his newest and most powerful computer. After shutting down this morning, I noticed the computer did not shut off. I found a blue screen of death with the words critical process stop. This will not reboot. I tried running a refresh that didn't work either. No matter what I tried, nothing worked. Tried to reinstall the anniversary update. Windows 8.1 from recovery drive. Again, nothing worked. I wound up reinstalling the November update of 10.586, which did work. I spent the last 6 hours reinstalling apps and programs. Will I be able to keep this version? You know what? One of the things that you should do, Stephen, is the next time, if you do have problems again, don't reinstall all the apps and programs. Start by just using it for a while like that to see if it works and it's solid and it works well. Just to be sure that it's not one of the programs that you install that actually creates problems. Now, the fact that you can't install Windows 8.1 also from the recovery drive, there's something wrong. Something is not right on your system. When one specific version of Windows doesn't work well all the time, it's one thing. But even trying other operating system, that's weird. That computer has something that's gotta be checked. Very weird. Cape Master says, my Windows Store is downloading slowly, but any other thing I download was fast. Is there any settings I can go change the speed? Feels like it's throttled. It could be something that is because of the Windows Store itself. You know what? I do not get the same speeds all the time in the Windows Store. Sometimes I'll download something and it's going to be fast. The other day I downloaded Asphalt 8 racing game, and it was extremely slow. I don't think there's any control you have over that. I think it's the way that Microsoft is sending out the stuff in the Windows Store. because it's never the same speed, and it's not always fast. I can tell you that. And since then, Steven, you updated to anniversary update. Have you had any problems since you got to the anniversary update? Out of curiosity. Kind of interesting. Very, very interesting. It's interesting, sometimes the problems, it reminds me of when as a tech guy, all the problems that I've seen over the years with my clients, and some of them are so mysterious. Some of them have extremely weird acting PCs, I can tell you that. It's just weird, and you look at it and you're like, I don't know, it's so bizarre. So bizarre that you're having that type of problem. So bizarre. That's interesting. No problem since then. Kind of interesting. No problem, Escape Master. I'm here for that. Anybody has another little question? Even if it's a basic one, sometimes I can see, from all of my clients, the lack of knowledge of a lot of things. People don't know what, this or that is and how it works, and they have no idea. People are, I would say people, for at least 75% of the people, are totally clueless as to how things are working in a computer. And, it's always interesting because a lot of that lack of knowledge often brings them to call the tech guy. And the funniest thing is that the tech guy, once he's there, very often is fixing something that's so basic. And it's interesting that people have at least a minimum amount of knowledge of what things are. So many things, I can tell you that. And the way that like Tim Robinson is saying about his downloads that are sluggish also, and you know what, I think it's the way that the Windows Store works basically, because downloading from a website or from something directly and from the store isn't working the same way. I think they have they intentionally make this, the way that it works, the way that it's designed, is kind of slow. Miss Lady Catherine, I have an AMD, but I don't do gaming. Do I need to do updates? Well, you need to do updates for Windows, that's for sure. So every Windows updates that you need to apply, because that's security. But I don't know what other updates you're talking about. But if you're talking about drivers, for example, like maybe the display driver and stuff like that, you know what? If your computer works fine, I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That means for drivers and things like that, maybe for the graphics card, stuff like that. If your PC works really, really well, and you don't do these updates, it doesn't really matter. As for sometimes some PCs, a lot of PCs have that. They have some kind of a program that's installed that actually it's like an update manager. HP PCs will have that very often, and often that update manager says, "Oh, well, we got some updates for you." I rarely apply the updates that come through there, because as long as you have correct Windows updates, I don't want to. Your computer works fine. Don't mess it up with other types of updates. Except there are some specific things. It depends on what exactly. But if you have Java installed, for example, update Java. That's very important. If you need Java, it's very important to have it updated, because there's so many flaws. And you know what? If you have Java, 90% of the people don't even use it. I recommend to really uninstall it in the programs and features. Flash player, some people, because they use Firefox, for example, have Flash player as a standalone. Flash player needs to be updated, that's for sure. But if it's some kind of manager on your PC that says, well, you've got some updates now, I usually don't apply that. It's usually driver updates. And if your PC really goes well, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. And let's check it out here. Anything else? As we see, Vladimir, I think. Which brand is more reliable? Dell Multiplex 700 series on i5, Lenovo Yoga, i7, Dell, could be i7. I don't have much of a preference, Vladimir, on one or the other. As long, I always say try to buy Intel if you can. Here you're talking of i5, i7, so that's Intel. I think that's, for me, a little more important. But you know what? All brands have good and bad computers, and there's no real thing about, there's no brand that I can say that is better than the other. So, go with what you think is fine. Go on Google and search for information on these devices that you want to buy. And for speed, you will have a little more speed on an i7 than an i5, but i5 is also quite good. Where I would not go, if possible, is on an i3. Because every computer I've seen with an i3 processor is, in general, slow. So, whatever you'll choose, I think is going to be quite all right. I don't have a preference for one or the other, or rarely have preferences for a brand, a specific brand. So, hey everyone, we're going to say goodbye for today already. The first show of 2017 is done. Pretty cool. That was show number 59. I want to thank everybody in the chat, everybody that participated in our show today. Thank you, everyone. It's pretty cool. Oh, wait, there's a little question that came here. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay, Albert Zappa has a little thing here. Change my search to Google and Firefox, and every time I open it back up, it has changed back to Yahoo. And also I set YouTube not to autoplay, and when I open browser back up, it switched back to autoplay. For Yahoo to always come back, make sure you don't have a Yahoo toolbar or a Yahoo add-on that is in Firefox. Because if you have that, it will want to change back to Yahoo. And by the way, Firefox now defaults to Yahoo by itself because they have had a kind of a talk with Yahoo, and they finally made it that Yahoo is the main thing. Make sure also that if you change for Google, if you put the start page to Google, for example, if you search in the bar at the top, it's still going to be Yahoo because that's the way Firefox is done now. But if you change stuff and it doesn't change back, make sure that you haven't erased. Make sure you don't have the that little check mark that says that it just erased everything and just remove the temporary files. And every time I shut down the browser, because that can prevent you from keeping your settings. Just make sure that you are careful with that. And if you have any problems, we'll next shows before we go, everyone. Of course, the From the Couch will be not this Thursday, but Thursday the 12th. That's when it's starting, Thursday the 12th. For those that follow my radio shows, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2000 hours UTC. We have our Tuning the Bands, where we are tuning around shortwave. Saturday shortwave radio hangout, where we're going to talk about shortwave radio, and hope that everybody is great. Thanks, everybody. Take care. See you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2000 hours UT, for another great live tech show. Bye, everyone. Take care. Have a great week.